Morning students, welcome to the second session of chemistry. In the last class we discussed regarding the types of chemical reactions. We discussed regarding the types of chemical reactions. So just we are giving in the last class we are saying that the chemical reactions are broadly are of four types. We say the first one we can call as, here we called as a combination reaction. Second one is called as a decomposition reaction. Third one is called as a displacement reaction. Fourth one is double displacement reaction. Double displacement reactions. And the last one is redox reaction. So totally we have the 5 types of reactions. In the out of 5 types, we in the last session we discussed regarding the combination reaction, where we say that two different elements, if they combine to give rise to only one single product. Okay, two or more reactants combine to give only one single product, a combination reaction. And coming to decomposition, it is said to be opposite to that of the combination reaction, in which one reactant will decompose to give rise to two products. One reactant decomposes to give two products. Okay, that's called as decomposition. This decomposition reaction it takes place by the 3 ways. Okay, the first one is called, it takes place by means of the one is called as thermal decomposition. The first one you can have is thermal decomposition. The second one is called photolytic decomposition. Photolytic decomposition. The third one is called electrolytic decomposition. So in the last session we discussed regarding thermal, means if the decomposition reaction means breaking of a compound occurs due to the action of heat, means by heating a substance, if a one compound divides and gives rise to two or more products, that comes under thermal decomposition. Coming to photolytic decomposition, if the decomposition reaction is carried out in the presence of the sunlight, due to the heat given by the sunlight, that's called photolytic decomposition. I gave explained is that we take a silver bromide. If we keep a yellow color powder, we keep that in a watch glass and keep in sunlight. Within 5 to 10 minutes, we observe that is being turned into a gray color. So changes occurring is due to the what happened, decomposition taking place. Today we will discuss regarding our topic. Today's topic we will discuss here regarding electrolyte decomposition. So what is this electrolytic decomposition? Means the decomposition reaction, if it is carried out due to the presence of the electric field. The decomposition reactions, if it is carried out in presence of electric field, means the heat which is being given by means of electricity. Okay, if that due to that one, if the decomposition is occurring, then it's called electrolyte decomposition. So now we will discuss regarding electrolytic decomposition in detail. Then later on we will discuss a further type of 3 types of reaction: displacement, double displacement, etc. So we'll go for the what happened? We have is a electrolytic decomposition. So as usual, in the electrolytic decomposition, the name itself is saying the decomposition reactions which is being carried out in the presence of electric field, which is being carried out in the presence of electric field, is called as a electrolytic decomposition. So the definition will not change. Decomposition means one reactant should decompose, break, it should split up to give 2 or more products. Okay, now if we have a product called BC, okay, whenever you are supplying in the presence of electric field, it may decompose to give rise to B and C. It may divide. But the electric field, it should supply the heat. The heat given by the electric field is required to break up the compound and convert into two or more products. That's called electric decomposition. The best example for the decomposition is the electrolysis of water. And this is a very good important example, and this is one of the activity which is there in our textbook. Electrolysis of water is a very good example. So this activity you can do in your house also. You can do in your house. To make up this activity, just the setup whatever is required to do this activity, it can we can do in your house. First of all, let us write reaction electricity water H2O. Whenever it is being applied in the present electric field. Electric field means when you are applying the electricity, we don't directly take the wires and we dip in the water. Whenever you are using electric field means we need to take a apparatus, what you call a cell. Okay, that cell should contain anode, a cathode, and one solution. Okay, so in the presence of, I will say right here, in the presence of electric field, the water will divide to give rise to H2 and O2. Okay, when you go for the balancing of equation, it will be like this. H2O, which was in the liquid state, will divide to give rise to H2 gas, O2 gas. So you see, reactant is one, only water, but it decomposed to give two products, hydrogen gas separate, oxygen gas separate. So how it takes place? How it takes place? To carry out this one, we require an apparatus. So for this one, you can take one plastic mug. For your thing, you can take one plastic mug. The plastic mug like this. A big size plastic container you can take. And in the plastic container, at the bottom of the plastic container mug, you make two small holes. You keep it more two small holes. In these small holes, you can insert a small, in this one, you try to take the graphite rods. Graphite rods normally we try to take in our, you see in our pencils. Okay, you can take a graphite rod, the most available conductor of electricity. You can take, this is the graphite rod. Normally, totally these are the graphite rods you can take. Okay, and these graphite rods are being inserted in this holes, you can say, and later on these graphite rods are being connected to this is the battery, or you can take either 1.5 volt battery, or we can have the 3 volts of battery. We can take it. It is directly connected to the, not direct power, we connect to the battery, because we are doing it as an experiment. Whenever you are doing experiment, high electricity should not be used. A limited voltage is to be supplied. That's why we take the battery. A 3 volts of battery is sufficient. We try to take. If not, we can take for the 6 volts of battery. So once again repeating, this is the what we can have, the container, plastic container you can take. This is the plastic container, and these two are the graphite rods. So why you are taking the two graphite rods here means these two are acting as graphite rods. So these graphite rods, this one and this one, both are graphite rods. Graphite rod. Out of the two graphite rods, one graphite rod will act as anode. Normally, whenever you want to conduct electricity, when you want to supply electricity, mainly we require 3 parts in it. 3 components should be required in that one. The first one is the anode. One should be anode, other should be cathode. The third component is the electrolyte solution. Electrolyte, so 3 parts, 3 components togetherly will construct to form a cell. In this one, this anode, cathode are generally the normal. We try to take the good electric conductors. Okay, here I am taking the 2 rods. What I am taking? This is the anode. This is anode. This what you take is the cathode. Both anode, cathode in our experiment. Anode is also graphite rod. Cathode is also a graphite rod. And both are good conductor of electricity, and to form a circuit, both are connected to the battery. And third one is electrolyte solution. Where is the solution in this one? So in this one, what happens is, after taking this one, you try to pour, in this case, water. Normally our distilled water, not our drinking water, distilled water, or what we can call deionized water. So the deionized water, normally it don't contain any type of ions in it. You take the water in this case, and before you pour the water in the case, just you can add 1 or 2 drops of acid to it. Which acid? We can add here we can add water, distilled water, plus 1 or 2 drops of concentrated H2SO4. H2SO4 meaning is sulfuric acid. You can add 1-2 drops of sulfuric acid. Sir, what is the use of here sulfuric acid is, normally the water molecule is there, it should divide to give rise to hydrogen oxygen separately. This sulfuric acid, it will help the water to ionize fastly. Means it will help to break up. It will help in the ionization fastly. Once the ionization is completed fastly, the products will be obtained fastly. That's why, in the case of here, we add 1-2 drop. That's why in the book what they will give, what is the electrolyte solution in this one? The electrolyte solution we are going to take is a acidified water. They give the word called as acidified water. Okay. So what the acidified water, nothing but water when you add it with 1-2 drops of sulfuric acid. Do remember here sulfuric acid nowhere will participate in the reaction, or nowhere it will not disturb the experiment. The role of sulfuric acid, what we are adding is, it helps in the ionization of water. This is the 1 mark question. 1 mark question which is asked in the CBSE. What is the role of sulfuric acid in the electrolysis of water? Means the role of the sulfuric acid is, the sulfuric acid helps in the ionization, to ionize, okay, ionize water molecule, to ionize water molecule fastly, we are using the sulfuric acid. Okay, so repeating once again, children, having the setup, I am repeating the setup once again, because the what mainly to have this experiment, we require the 3 components are required for the electrolysis of water. One is the anode, other is the cathode, etc. So the anode, cathode and electrolyte solution, 3 parts here. The anode, cathode and electrolyte solution. The anode we are taking here is the graphite rod. The cathode is also graphite rod. Electrolyte solution we are using is a acidified water. What is the meaning of acidified water? Means water along with the 1-2 drops of concentrated sulfuric acid. 1-2 drops of concentrated sulfuric acid. So do remember, what is the role of sulfuric acid? The role of sulfuric acid is to ionize water molecules, fastly. Okay, to ionize water molecule fastly, we are using this one. So acidified water. So having the setup once again, I am drawing the setup once again once again in detail here. So as we said, it is having one plastic container. The plastic container is there. From the bottom, I inserted 2 graphite rods. Out of 2 graphite rods, okay, 1 rod is acting as this side what you are using. This rod what we are using. This is a graphite rod, and there is also a graphite rod. Okay, so this rod is acting as acting as anode. It is a graphite rod, and the next one is this is cathode. it is also graphite rod. And I said at the bottom of these rods are being connected to a source of electricity. So the electricity what you are using is a battery. We try to use a 6 volts battery or 3 volts battery according to this one. After this one, we fill this totally with the water. Totally you fill this container with the water. Okay, this water totally you try to fill this one. Here is the water pan, acidified water. Acidified water. The acidified water is acting as electrolyte. Whenever 3 parts are required, anode, cathode, electrolytes are being dipped, and totally the circuit is constructed. Now the electricity can pass through this one properly. So once it is done, before we start doing the experiment, okay, according to our theoretical knowledge, we are learning water in the presence of electricity, it will divide to give rise to H2 and O2 we are saying. Hydrogen gas and oxygen gas we are saying. So how do you know that gas are obtaining? To know a clarity what happened, you take 2 test tubes, empty test tubes you take, okay, a glassy empty test tubes, and you dip this test tube on this graphite rods. Okay, you see here, this is a test tube. I am inverting. Okay, you are taking a test tube and directly I am inverting on this one. Okay, take another test tube and also invert on this one. Okay, when you are inverting, first as the total, this is total is water. Okay, as this total is water automatically, the test tube is also total, inside total test tube is also totally filled with water completely. Okay, you can observe totally this is also filled with the water. Okay, inside the test tube water is there and also outside. Okay, done. Now after it's done, now don't disturb that one. Now on the battery. Okay, if you have a switch like connection, now on the battery. If you have a plug, you on the switch, etc. Now with the help of the battery, electricity will pass through the battery into this conductors. We can call electrodes. These electrodes what you're taking is a graphite rods. Graphite rods are the good conductors of electricity and they can produce a little bit of heat also. Whenever this heat is being passed, automatically the water will automatically dissociate. It evaporates into the hydrogen as well as the oxygen we can say. And after this dissociation, we can observe 2 gases are obtained. One gas will move towards one electrode, other gas will move to other electrode. So my question is, sir, how do we know which gas is obtained, etc.? After 10 minutes of work when you observe, first total it is water filled, total is utterly water filled, this is also totally water filled. After 10 minutes of current battery is obtained, you observe that the test tube which is being totally filled with water, we observe some empty space. Means the test tube, upper part of test tube, before it was water filled, now little bit of empty space was observed here. Okay, same thing we observe in the other test tube also. We observe in the case of other test tube also, same thing. Okay, empty, a little bit of empty space obtained. But before we starting the experiment, total 2 test tubes are being totally filled with water, because in the container if you dip a test tube, automatically that water will insert into the test tube. Total it was filled with water, but after current is being passed, after 10 minutes, the electrolysis process takes place and the water is divided to give rise to H2 and O2. Due to that one, what happened? We observe in the two electrodes, gaps are obtained. This gaps indicates that gas is obtained. Gas is being collected in the test tubes. Because gas is having lighter weight. Gas always move upside. That's why any gas is obtained in electrode. One is hydrogen gas, other is oxygen gas. They will move towards top of the test tube only. But question comes is, among the 2 test tubes, which gas is gas is collected in which test tube? You are saying hydrogen, oxygen, but which gas is hydrogen? In which test tube hydrogen gas is there? Which test tube oxygen is there? Okay, that you can know logic. And this is our CBSE question also. During the electrolysis process, 2 different gases are collected in the test tubes. Okay, how do you identify the 2 different gases? These two gases, remember, which are collected in this test tube, they are colorless, odorless gas. Means hydrogen gas don't have any color, oxygen also don't have any color. So we can't identify physically by seeing with our eyes. We can't identify this is hydrogen, this is oxygen. But how we can able to identify here which is hydrogen, which is oxygen means only by the amount of gas produced. You see here when you are writing the formula of H2O. When you are writing the formula H2O, the H2O contains how many hydrogen atoms? It contains 2 hydrogen atoms. Okay. Along this one, how many oxygen atoms? It contains only 1 oxygen atom. Means if you take one water molecule, I am taking one water molecule, how many hydrogens are there? 2 hydrogen atoms are there. How many oxygens are there? 2. Means if you divide one water molecule, automatically you will get 2 hydrogens as well as 1 oxygen. It will divide to give rise to 2 hydrogens as well as 1 oxygen. So means the ratio of the gases in this one in the water molecule is in which one? 2:1 ratio. The hydrogen quantity is in the 2, oxygen quantity is 1. So the quantities of the atoms, hydro and oxygen are in the 2:1. Which is more? 2 stands for hydrogen, because you see 2 H2. 2 is more is hydrogen, 1 is oxygen. That's why here more in which of the test tube we observe more quantity of the gas. More quantity of gas, that automatically will be which gas? Hydrogen gas. In test tube which is containing less gas, that automatically will be oxygen gas, because the ratio of the gas are 2:1. The question on the same topic, the question is asked 2-3 in different types. How they ask means why the hydrogen gas is obtained more and why oxygen gas is obtained less during the electrolysis of water. The question asks means indicates you have to say what in the formation of water molecule is formed by combination of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. So the more quantity is hydrogen, less quantity is oxygen. That's why after electrolysis, if the water molecule is dissociating in the presence of the electrolysis, if the water molecule dissociating, automatically you will get more hydrogen, and you will get less oxygen. That's why the ratio here will be 2:1. Okay. Visually, remember, we can't identify which gas. According to a theoretical explanation, we are comparing with the observation. In one of the test tube which you are having more gas, you observe that gas should be hydrogen. In other test tube which you are having less gas, that will be oxygen. So this is the electrolysis of water and what we can call as electrolytic decomposition. Many times this question was being asked in our CBSE, either in the reasoning type or in the explanation type they asked. Okay, this is our you can do this apparatus construction and this one in your houses also, because nothing is costly. Everything which is required to do this one is present in our houses. We can try and you can do also. Okay, so this is regarding the electrolyte decomposition, the second type of decomposition reaction. With this, the decomposition reaction is finished. So the decomposition reactions, first one was thermal decomposition, second one was photolytic decomposition, third one is electrolytic decomposition. Okay, proceeding with the third type of chemical reaction. Third type of chemical reaction. So far, out of this one, the first was combination reaction. The second was decomposition reaction. The third one is displacement reaction. Fourth one, double displacement reactions. Fifth one, redox reaction. 5 types. So far we completed first 2. Now we are starting with the third one, displacement reaction, or it is also called as simple displacement reaction. Simple displacement reaction. This simple displacement reaction, this reaction is also called By the other name is also called as the substitution. It is also called by the name called as substitution reaction. Okay, displacement reaction or substitution reaction. Sometimes it is also called by the name called as replacement reaction. Replacement reaction. But we call mostly by the word called displacement. But what is called this displacement reaction? The reaction in which if you are taking the two different substances like this, you are taking the two different substances A and BC. A is one substance, BC is a different substance. When you are taking the two different reactants, out of this one, if the reactivity of one substance, okay, reactivity of one element is more than that of other element which you are taking. Suppose if A is a one element, if it is having more reactivity than B, if it is there, then what happen? More reactive element occupy the place of less reactive element. Okay, it will push the less reactive element out, and in place of less reactive element, this will occupy. As a result, it converts Q raised to, now B will be occupied by A and C will be like this. You will get. So means if the reactions in which a less reactive element is replaced by more reactive element. Now here B we are considering as less reactive. B is considering as less reactive, and A is we are considering as a more reactive. If the reactions in which less reactive element is occupied by a more reactive element to give rise to new products. Okay, you will see here, if B is removed and replaced by A, it will give a new product called AC. Okay, if it is giving like this product, this reaction is called as a displacement, or it is called replace. You can see what you are doing, replace. They are replacing the B with the A. That's why it's called as replacement or simple displacement reaction. But the condition is, if the reaction want to occur, the condition is whichever want to this replace depends upon the reactivity series. Okay, the elements if we want to undergo displacement reaction, it depends on react series. Means whatever you are going to add, this should be, if it is more reactive, this one only it will occur. But now you can ask me a question, sir, how do we know the one metal is more reactive than other metal? How do we know? Means we have one list of series. Okay, I'll give a list of series. In that one, by seeing that series, we can identify which metal is more reactive or less reactive. Now let me write this series here. I'll write the series here example. So this is a reactivity series. Reactivity series. In this one, the metal starting here is a potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron. Next one we can have tin, lead, next one we have is silver, gold. Okay, this is a few of the chemicals which is available. Okay, potassium, its symbol K, sodium Na, calcium Ca, magnesium Mg, aluminium Al, Zn zinc, iron Fe, tin Sn, lead Pb, silver Ag, gold Au. Okay, so these are the main elements which are present here, and you can also have one more thing also. Okay, We can have the copper also here. You can say copper, Cu. So like this, these are the few elements. I did not give all the metals. Few of the most metals which we come across in the chemical reactions, these are there. So when in this case, when you move from top to bottom, as you move from top to bottom, as you move from this one, the reactivity decreases. Reactivity of metals decreases. Means among this one, which is the most reactive, means the elements which are at the top of the series are highly reactive. The elements which are at the bottom of the series are less reactive. That's why now when whatever we are writing, suppose you are writing the A plus BC. Now I was saying A is more reactive. If it is A is more reactive than B, it will replace to give AC plus like this. If you want to check what happened, is it more reactive or less reactive? You check the elements whether it is where it is present. I'll give one example to you know. Now you can also check for me. So suppose Zn reacts with the HCl. Zn reacts with the HCl and gives. In the situation you observe, first element is what? Zn. Where is the Zn? You can see Zn is here. Next, second one is hydrogen. Okay, where is normally we can have is the hydrogen. We can keep let one more thing. Hydrogen. Sorry. Cu copper. Ag silver. Au gold. Now when you see like this, now you can see hydrogen. Actually hydrogen is a non-metal. The remaining what we are writing here is all are metals. Hydrogen is a non-metal. Even though it is a non-metal also, we try to include in the reactivity series. Okay. So this you can see our example. Zinc. Zinc is here. Second is hydrogen. Hydrogen is here. So zinc is at the above the hydrogen. Okay. Zinc, if it is zinc is above hydrogen, means this is having more reactive than hydrogen. That's why as a result what happened, zinc can easily replace the hydrogen. Okay, when it is replaced hydrogen, now the hydrogen goes out and converts uses to ZnCl2 and H2. Okay, because zinc is more reactive than hydrogen. Zinc is here, hydrogen is here. Elements which are top is more reactive and elements at the bottom are less reactive. Next, one more I'll give. Iron, when it reacts with the CuSO4. Iron. Suppose this is experiment which is activity. Is there in our textbook also activity. Iron, take an iron nail. Iron nail you can take and take that iron nail and you take an iron nail. Everyone knows iron nail is a new iron nail will be silver color. Normally new iron nail when you get silver color, take that iron nail and in that one you take the copper sulfate. The copper sulfate is a blue color solution. The copper sulfate is sky blue color solution. It is a blue color solution. So what you do, take that iron nail and you keep in this one. Okay, let's imagine this is iron nail. Okay, what is this? This is iron nail and this is which type of color? The iron nail color is silver. Okay, you kept there and you keep on a table this one. Iron nail dipped in the copper sulfate solution is blue color. Leave it one day. Leave it one day and by the next day or later on when you observe, we observe slightly changes in the colors. Changes in the color we observe. What we changes is copper sulfate actually was blue color. Okay, we observe after by the next day when we observe the container, what we observe is the color, the rod, what happened, the nail, okay, the nail what we was having, it was having the silver color, it will turns to the brown color, the silver color. How we see iron will get rust, will get a brown color, like this the iron will, this nail total will get the brown color, and moreover this solution which was blue color, the blue color almost it becomes like to, it becomes like that of the colorless, a little bit fade up. You don't get the blue color, it will get fade up. Okay, why this happens? Why we are not heating, we are not doing anything. Why the color changes happen means, it is, you observe, iron and copper, both are different chemicals. When both different chemicals are in contact with each other, they will check the reactivity. You see the first one, iron. Second one is copper. Where is iron? Iron is here. You see, iron is here. Next, where is copper? Here. You see, iron is at the topper than copper. Iron is above series than copper. So meaning is that iron is more reactive than copper. As a result, what happened? Iron will come and replace the copper, gives us to FeSO4 and gives us to Cu. This iron was originally what we take is solid. It was actually having the outside, when you see the iron, it is a brown color we say, but normally iron nail what we are having, this is what we have is a silver color. What the nail we are having, silver color. And this is a liquid which is having which color? Sky blue color. It is a sky blue color. After doing this one, you will get this one. This is FeSO4. This color will be not sky blue. It will be fade up color. Okay, almost in the case of the normally like a colorless solution or dull color solution. And one more thing is, this brown color what is obtained is not now iron. What it is due to copper. The color of copper, everyone you can remember, the copper we can see in our electrical wires also. That one is a brown color we can say. But remember the point here is, anything can undergo displacement or means no. Displacement reaction occur when the reactivity of one element is more than other only, then happens. I'll give one example to you, one more example to you. The best example which was asked, suppose Ag plus CuNO3 taken a copper nitrate. Okay, Ag when dipped in copper nitrate. Okay, I'm taking the CuNO3 copper nitrate solution. Okay, so this is silver. Same, I take a one example. Let's take this is a silver rod. I am taking in the case of in this beaker, I am taking the copper nitrate. Okay, this is a copper nitrate solution. This is a copper nitrate solution I am taking. Okay, in this one I am dipping the silver. Something I am taking the silver. Everyone knows the color of silver. Okay, you dip in that one. You keep on this table, on the table you keep it, and you observe that one for 2 days or 3 days after doing one. When you observe, we don't observe, no, we notice no changes in this one. No changes in the color of the silver will remain silver only. Copper nitrate, which is having the color of the blue color, it remains blue only. Why it is not having means, it indicates that whenever we observe no changes in the beaker means indicate reaction is not happening. Why reaction is not happening means you check. You see Ag. Where is the Ag? You see here something bottom Ag. Next Cu. Second element is what? Cu. Cu is above Ag. You see whatever the first component we are taking, it is less reactive than Ag. Sorry, less reactive than copper. Silver is less reactive than copper. This element, if it is more reactive than copper, only displacement happen. But as the silver is less reactive than copper, automatically what happen? In this case, no reaction occurs. We don't observe the no reaction in the case of here. Okay, so like this reaction occurring, this is called displacement reaction, and this reactivity series is very important. You come across in many chapters. We have the 5 chapters in our chemistry. In all the 5 chapters, in one or other place we come across, and it is easy for us to remember this reactivity series by in the form of what happened, a sentence, a normal sentence. How to remember means, I'll say here it is called P. Okay, P stands for, you write as please. P stands for please. Yes. S stands for stop. C. Okay, please stop. Calling. C stands for calling. M. Me. Calling. M stands for me. A. Calling me. A. Okay, aluminium. A. Z. Zebra. Z. Zebra. Next I. I instead of I, what is it? Instead. Okay, I stands for, okay, I. The word we can use is I is the instead. T. Try. Okay. Next L. like or try, learn, or we can say try to learn. H stands for how. C stands for copper. Okay, it is a copper. We can write it how. You can write C, copper. S, okay, what is that? S stands for saves. G, same, gold. You can write, please stop calling me zebra, instead try to learn how copper saves gold. Or in some other books, they can, sentence formation is different, depends on our requirement. Okay, some other we give, please try to, here, please stop calling me a zebra, instead try to like her, call me sweet goat. Okay, so means this sentence formation, what we are writing the sentence, it is not predefined. Just account what sentence we can easily remember. Like this, if you remember sentence, please stop calling me a zebra, instead like her, stop call me a sweet goat. If you remember the sentence, automatically first letter of every word, P, potassium, S, sodium, C, calcium, M, magnesium, A, aluminium, Z, zinc, I, iron, T, tin, L, lead, H, hydrogen, C, copper, sweet, S, silver, G, gold. Like this, if you remember series, it will be helpful for you. In the examination, many times in the competitive examinations, etc., they give like this reaction. Which are is the reaction is possible or not, they will ask. If you want to write the reaction, first everyone should keep in your mind is, this order should be remembered. We have thousands and lakhs of chemical reactions occurring. Out of all the reactions we can't remember. But is that reaction like this type of displacement reaction can occur or not, or happens or not, can be able to know when you remember this reactivity series. Please mug up this reactivity series and try to do some of the equations, the worksheet I am trying to give that one. Okay, copy the notes which I am going to give, and also please try to practice few of the displacement reaction and write the products, what type of products you will be getting, like this. And everyone keep in your mind, whatever the reaction you are writing, it should be a balanced reaction. Compulsory should be balanced reaction. Okay, that is it. The balanced reaction, always the formulas should be written by using the hit and trial method, and reaction should be always balanced. Okay, let us discuss some other reaction in the next session. Okay, thank you.